What's up? It's halfway through the month. So far, I have $350 in commissions generated from a set call. Got another 350 coming on the way. There potentially might be a refund because there is some dispute with the partner not wanting to move forward, but I believe that we can settle that. Got another 13K deal coming through, but in terms of commissions on that, they'll be doing a payment plan. So it looks like $50 on my end. Yesterday, I had a call who most of it went well. The part that I could have improved on is the identity labeling and also digging for pain. They had ultimately a desire to want to work with us. The only thing was the logistical finance. And the reason why I couldn't deal with that objection was because I couldn't hold authority, because I didn't have enough pain points or identity to hold them to it. Because they did say they have the money, but they wanted to wait for a fortnight to get paid. Deep down, we know that's more fear and committing, because obviously a high ticket is a high deal price. And look, I rescheduled them to a fortnight, and I guess on my end, should have done a better job in holding frame. But moving forward, things like that for today is I've got two more calls later after work, so I'm going to really focus on understanding how learning like a language like Mandarin, which is the offer that I'm doing, how much of a need it is, because a lot of people want to do it, but when people need to do it, they have a stronger desire. And when people need to do it, it's generally because they have to be labeled in a certain identity, because I want to have is a whole lot of reasons why not to do it. And it's not going to be convincing enough for them to convince themselves. It's not my job to convince them to want to pay a lot of money to learn Mandarin. Now onto the video content side of things. And the reason why I'm ramping up more content is I need to get better at speaking the way I would normally speak. And this is the way I would normally speak. I feel like I've gone a long way when it comes to just talking to in front of the camera. That being said, talking in front of live prospects is a different game. It's because I have to be speaking more with conviction, which means I have to hold frame, which is calling out people a lot on their BS. And if I don't have that confidence or that conviction yet, it has to be delusional, not fake. And what I mean by delusional is the fact that you need to be speaking like the person that's already at 20K a month. So if we have to break that down, what does that look like? Because that's quite vague. Someone who's certain about where they need to go, who's actually been there, who is not afraid of making the mistakes, not afraid of taking fear by the balls and moving forward with it. Because watching a video about fear, everybody has to go through fear when it comes to getting outside the comfort zone. And the reframe to fear in this video was that it's the green light to move in that direction. Because what you're afraid of tends to be the thing that you want most. The reason why you're afraid of it is because you want it badly and you don't want to fail at it. But here's the thing, not even trying is the worst possible outcome because of the fear. So this is my problem right now. I'm an overthinker, and I guess I could label myself as like a decently smart person, went through university, currently a physio. But that being said, it makes everything at a disadvantage because it holds more fear and it builds a weird metaphorical cage that I put myself in, which sounds extremely horrible. And a lot of people who are logistical thinkers build themselves a cage of overthinking and logically having reasons not to get out of that cage. And that cage is your comfort zone, which is where a lot of people choose to lie. And if you place yourself in that cage, I'm sure your dreams, your tangible outcomes aren't in that cage with you. They're out of that cage. Because if you have certain goals that you want to achieve, you would have achieved them already, even if you're in this cage. So when dealing with prospects that are more logistical, more intelligent, high achievers, high caliber A types, they most likely got this cage that they've built up for themselves. And it's your job to really break it. And the way to break it is to reframe them. And to reframe them, the only things I've got at the moment is like, are they willing to settle? Because if they've built themselves a cage, then they're protecting themselves from something. And they're doing a really goddamn good job at doing it. So if they're doing a really goddamn job at protecting themselves, like what are they protecting themselves from? Everything, including their tangible outcome. Because if they haven't achieved their tangible outcome yet, it's mainly because they haven't stepped outside of the cage. So we got to make sure we build trust, because getting out of the cage, they built it for a reason. They want to stay safe. The cage is a safe place. So for us to really understand, like, what type of person they need to become, it comes back to down towards the advisor, the coach, the closer, the sales rep. Like, what do they need to say to, one, be trusted, two, to hold that conviction, that frame, to make sure that making an appropriate decision, even though it may not be the right decision, even though they make a mistake, you need to reframe the fact that the mistake is still better than being in the cage. So for me, I had a conversation with my sales manager, and he did push me towards me sitting with my fear, which is ultimately going all in on sales. Right now, I'm doing part-time physio, and right now, the reason why that doesn't work is the part-time hours is conflicting with a lot of calendar space with where I could potentially take calls. So I'm at the stage now where I have to really consider if I really want to go all in, which means that I quit my job, my physio job. I have enough savings. So I looked into this. So I have definitely enough savings for 3 to 4 months. And within the 3 to 4 months, just go ham into finding applications and offers and at least getting to 5K Australian before taxes. That sounds very doable. Okay, so worst case, I go the whole 3 months and I don't make money. I lose like 5K a month, that's 15K. That would be a big kick in the balls. But the thing is, I've been through that before. I've actually been through worse. Like, disclaimer, like, I invested into Bitcoin, went on the rise. I think it was right after COVID, and it plummeted. So I lost a lot of money there, more than 15K. So I've been there before, and I've come back from it. The only thing that I didn't like about it is it's taking way longer to pay off my mortgage. On top of that, my mindset in terms of paying the mortgage faster might not be a good strategy, because even if I increase my cash flow when it comes to the high ticket sales space, that means increasing the taxes that I'll have to pay. So I use ChatGPT to really understand a better strategy. And one, like, yeah, definitely increase the cash flow. But the other thing is trying to find things to reinvest into yourself, because that would be a tax expense. So the reason for that is looking more for efficiency when it comes to how to use your capital wisely. Because at the end of the day, if I'm paying off the mortgage quicker, it's almost the same reason or same way as putting it into savings. The only thing is that once you pay it off quicker, you save so much more money in interest, which ultimately I am. I'm off in 10 years. Sorry, I'm on track to pay it off in 5 years, actually, if things keep going the way they keep going. Obviously, if I quit my job and I have 3 months with no commission or anything, then that puts a like hurdle in terms of the progression. But that being said, it's a risk I'm willing to take, because these are kind of stories I want to tell myself when I'm like 70 or 80. Because when it's all said and done, I'd like to say that I put a bet on myself to make sure I can actually be in a position that I've actually taken a risk, like not knowing what is going to happen, getting out of my comfort zone, getting out of my metaphorical cage of overthinking about getting hurt, getting burnt aside. I mean, that being said, there's proof in the pudding that I've been in those situations, like whether it be relationship, personal. Like I have gotten out of the cage before. It's just, are you willing to do it again? And over again in the future, because there's going to be cages that you have to keep coming out of. But the big question is, can you get out of this first one before you go to the next one? Because ultimately, if you're getting into sales and entrepreneurship, it's all about finding what the cage is and getting out of it. And that's it. I'm going to keep doing more of this because I need to work on my tonality.